African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of September 22, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Troop Group inflicted damage on formations of 2 mechanized, airborne assault brigades, airborne assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Alekseevka, Varakino, Mogrica, and Dnipropetrovsk in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of 3 mechanized brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Volchansk, Sinelnikovo, and Grigorovka in the Kharkiv region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost more than 190 servicemen, a tank, 12 cars, 4 artillery guns, and 3 supply depots. Units of the West Troop Group improved their tactical position. They inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 3 mechanized and assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Kupiansk, Gleshkovka, Velikaya Shapkovka, Iziumsko in the Kharkiv region, Kirovsk and Yampol in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to over 240 servicemen, 18 cars, and 4 field artillery guns, 2 of which are of Western production. Destroyed were US-made and /TPQ-36 counter-battery radar station, 10 electronic warfare stations, and 4 ammunition depots. Units of the South Troop Group occupied more advantageous lines and positions. They inflicted damage on formations of 6 mechanized, motorized infantry, assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements of Severovsk, Mayskoye, Reznikovka, Minkovka, Berstok, Ivanopoli, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 210 servicemen, 3 armored combat vehicles, 9 cars, and 5 field artillery guns. 2 electronic warfare stations, an ammunition depot, and a fuel depot were destroyed. Units of the Center Troop Group improved their position along the front line. They inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 4 mechanized, airmobile, airborne, assault, 2 airborne assault brigades, 3 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine, 2 Marine brigades, and a territorial defense brigade in the areas of the settlements of Dmitrov, Moskovsko, Rodinsko, Krasny Lyman, Balagin, and Krasnoarmeysk in the Donetsk People's Republic. Losses of Ukrainian armed formations amounted to over 550 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, including a US-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 3 cars, and an artillery gun. Units of the East Troop Group advanced deep into the enemy's defense and liberated the settlement of Kalinovskoe in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Damage inflicted on formations of 3 mechanized, assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Gavrilovka, Orestopol in the Dnipropetrovsk region and Chervono in the Zaporizhia region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost up to 295 servicemen, 3 armored combat vehicles, 14 cars, 3 field artillery guns, and 2 electronic warfare stations. Units of the Dnipro Troop Group inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized brigades and 2 coastal defense brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Orkhov in the Zaporizhia region, Berislav, Otradokomenka, Tyajinka, Sadovo, and Belozerka in the Kherson region. Up to 50 Ukrainian servicemen, a US-made HMMWV armored vehicle, 8 cars, an artillery gun, 5 electronic warfare stations, 2 ammunition depots, and a supply warehouse were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian Armed Forces troop groups inflicted damage on a Ukrainian aviation industry enterprise, military airfield infrastructure, storage and launch sites of long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, a foreign mercenary training center, as well as temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations in 147 areas. Air defense means shot down 7 guided aerial bombs, 2 MR's multiple launch rocket system rockets of U.S. production, and 339 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, destroyed 667 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 85,822 unmanned aerial vehicles, 628 anti-aircraft missile systems, 25,208 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,592 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 29,816 field artillery guns and mortars, 42,374 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.